Okay, so not to brag, but when Kyle and I made our mock draft, so far through 4 picks, we are perfect. I had Andrew Thomas going here. I love Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas is my favorite tackle in this draft. I think this is 100% the correct decision from the New York Giants' perspective. And, I thought there was some talk about maybe they were going to go for Simmons. Maybe they were even going to go for a different tackle. I don't think you do that. I think you get the best tackle that is currently in the draft. He has a chance to be an elite tackle for the next decade for Daniel Jones, who you want to protect. I just think this makes a ton of sense, which is why, when I did my mock draft and the exact same situation was presented to me, this is what I did. I went with Andrew Thomas. I'm going to get into the film study, break down everything he does so well. There's so many things he does well, and quite frankly, one thing that's worth mentioning is he has pretty much no downside whatsoever. Pretty much everything about him is just upside. He's just a really good all-around tackle. There's really no ways to beat him at all, which is partially why I just love this pick so much. I think this is what the Giants should have done. You could have maybe said, well, maybe they could trade down and get him, but I just don't think anyone's going to trade down inside the top 4 like this, because I think they know that the only team that would really do it would be a team that wants a quarterback. But I think both teams that want a quarterback that could trade up, the Dolphins or the Chargers, I think they both just know that the Giants aren't going to go quarterback here, and they aren't too concerned about, okay, you get Andrew Thomas, we're not going to get him anyways. But I love this pick. This is absolutely the right decision for me. If you're a Giants fan, you should be very excited, in my opinion. On this play, he's going to be going up one-on-one against that LSU defender who is right over there. And what this play is really going to show off, I think, is his lateral movement. It's his ability to move side to side. But not just that, it's also going to show off his hands. So anyways, right when the ball is snapped, you notice what his assigned man is going to be doing here. He's going to be basically faking as though he's running towards the outside. But he's not going to do that. He's going to try to cut inwards, going to try to cut in between the, Thomas and his guard, and try to see if he can get through that way. And keep in mind, he is currently going up against Chiasson, so this is definitely no scrub by any means. But when he tries to cut to the inside, watch how Thomas is easily able to just stay with him and get his hands in a perfect placement to where there was really no pressure, and, they had a chance to make a great play on that one, largely just because of what Thomas was able to do and the way he was able to have the footwork to come back and finish off that block towards the middle. And that's not easy to do because, guys don't too often cut over to the middle, and sometimes that can be surprising. They do it more in college than in the NFL, but it's still definitely not easy to do. However, Thomas was able to pull it off pretty effectively there. This play will also show off that he can have that lateral movement, but in the opposite direction, where this kind of shows that he can stay with a quick guy trying to run deep. And what's going to happen is that, once again, it's a one-on-one matchup, same matchup as last time, so, big-time matchup here. And this time what Chiasson is going to do is that he's going to try to just run around like that. He's just going to go pure speed, see if he can get around Thomas. And right after the ball is snapped, notice how Thomas totally is able to run over and just stay with him. It's almost like he's a mime at this point, just totally staying pace, doing exactly what his assigned man is doing. This is just some great work from Thomas. This is why I do think Thomas is the best tackle prospect coming out of this draft. I think he's really good. And watch how he's just able to completely stay with him. Even you get some benefit with just his assigned man falling to the ground. But at the same time, that either way, regardless of what happened, even if there was perfect footwork working against him, he just did such a good job of staying with him. Again, he's like a mime. He just can move side to side so perfectly. It's almost like one of those in the game Crash Bandicoot, when you play one of those guys that will move side to side with you wherever you go, so you have no choice but to jump over them. That's what he is like, except this time there is no way to jump over him. That would not be too effective. Also, Crash Bandicoot, easily the greatest game of all time, but that's not totally necessary. However, it should be mentioned every now and then. This play was another very good one where, once again, one-on-one matchup. Same matchup we've seen the last 2 times. But then again, it's a big matchup. He's going up against another big-time prospect, which is why I wanted to show some plays from this game. But anyways, what's going to happen here is that look at this right after the ball is snapped. Again, this is just too easy for Thomas. I mean, he's going up against a very fast edge rusher, and yet Thomas is easily able to just stay with him. You know, those speed guys that you see in the NFL, they're not going to be able to outrun Thomas. They're really not. You're not going to be able to beat him with speed. So at this point, you pretty much have no choice but to try to beat him with power. But as 18 for LSU is going to figure out here, that's not too easy either. He tries a little bit and then sort of slides and falls down. I wonder if there was something wrong with the turf on that one. You know, that was because we saw actually a few people fall down throughout that game. Although one of the people we never saw have a problem was Thomas. So take with that what you will. But yeah, I mean, that's just why I like Thomas so much. That's the main thing I like about him is just his footwork, the way he can move laterally like that. I think that that's so huge. And in today's NFL, where there's so many fast edge rushers that can get around you, you don't want to allow that to happen. You want to make sure that you can stay with them and stay to the outside. And that's what Thomas can do, which is why I do think that he is a very valuable tackle. He also absolutely has the strength and can be effective in the running game. This is a good example where a little bit of a unique block. He's going to be blocking an interior lineman here, and it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. But, you know, given the angle, it's actually a pretty good situation for Thomas. But watch how quickly he's going to get there and how far he pushes his assigned man upwards. I'll try to show it a couple of times just because I know it's a little bit difficult to fully see, but Thomas is number 71 there, and just again, he's just pushing his assigned man very far up to the top half of the screen, which makes it a lot easier for his halfback to run through that gap. Granted, there were other players who were able to run over and make the play for Notre Dame, but at the same time, it was because of Thomas that they even got past the line of scrimmage to begin with. So really a good block by him, and more than anything, to me that just shows his strength and shows that okay, he's not just a guy with quickness, he's also a guy who's strong. He's also someone who can push you around if he gets a good angle. And, you know, for Georgia, oftentimes he would get good angles, and he really made the most of them. But okay, I've shown you a lot of things when something goes well for Thomas, but we all know that's not football. Things don't always go perfectly. Sometimes things go wrong, and I wanted to show an example of what he can do if things go wrong. Can he recover from a bad situation, from a bad start? And this play will be a good example, where this is going to be a blitz. You see all of those Notre Dame players will be blitzing right here, which means that for Thomas, he has somebody who he's supposed to keep an eye on, because obviously you don't know until after the ball is snapped who you're supposed to block. Thomas knows that he's supposed to block that player right there if he is blitzing. If he drops back into coverage, then for Thomas, he should find somebody else to hit. However, he will be rushing, so it's kind of a moot point there, but just explaining how it works. Anyways, right after the ball is snapped, as you see, he actually does a pretty good job of beating Thomas to the outside. I mean, not an amazing job, but, you know, he does get around Thomas to some degree. He was able to move over. Thomas did a good job of staying to the right as well, but, you know, I mean, listen, as of right now, the Notre Dame edge rusher has a slight edge on Thomas, so what can Thomas do here? Well, the one thing he still has left is he can get his left arm kind of on that left shoulder. Maybe, ideally, you'd want to get on the chest, but just get it somewhere where you can get some good contact and try to push him behind your quarterback. That's really the mindset right here, is can you do that? And Thomas is going to absolutely be able to pull that off, which allows them to get the first down. If he does not finish off that play and there's a quarterback hit, that's not a first down, and they have to punt probably. So, again, that's kind of why tackles are so important. On pretty much every play, a tackle has a huge impact, especially every passing play. So, having a guy like Thomas, I mean, I just think he's a great player, and I think this is just a fantastic pick. Again, in my mock draft, I had him as the number 4 pick to the Giants. I think that, quite frankly, when there's a tackle like Thomas, you can't pick him high enough. So, I love this pick. I am super high on him. What do you guys think of this pick? I'd like to know what you guys think. Are you as high on him as me? Do you have some concerns about him? Because at the end of the day, the draft is all a guessing game, but I would feel pretty confident in taking a guess on Andrew Thomas. That's just my opinion. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.